What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about BTCM, Bit Mining Limited, for Fonzie himself. Fonzie, you requested this, so we're talking about it. I've got a fib here. I do want to talk about that later, but I just want to first look at the chart for what it is. Looks like shit. It doesn't look good. Just overall in its history. Now, for the immediate term, I have bullish hopes. I have like high hopes for this thing. I think it can do great. But lower highs, lower lows, big dump, like after having nothing but downside. That's not a good looking chart, right? Normally, always probably not a good looking chart, but there are some things that are hopeful. The most volume we've ever seen on this chart on the monthly basis, the volume that came in dramatically higher than any other month we've ever seen was on this month that literally engulfed a quarter of a year's worth of price action, and it was the highest monthly close we'd seen in about 5 months. So, 1 month here, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, highest monthly close that we saw, all with the like literally most spectacular volume we've ever seen coming off of the all-time low that it's had. So definitely bullish on the low. Definitely think that we're going up from here. How much higher do we go? Are we going to new all-time highs? Are we going, somewhere in this range? A lower high overall? I want to go over that. And just looking at this market cap, $36.3 million market cap. If this thing was to do a 100x, I already measured it. A 100x from here, from the current price, would take us basically back to that recent high. I say recent, but that was back in 2021, so not too recently, right? It's almost 2024 now, so almost like 3 years ago. 100x is just a little bit lower than that. Okay, a 100x would bring us to a $3.6 billion market cap. Okay, now that's achievable. It's definitely achievable, but that kind of growth in the stock market, it tends to take more time than cryptos do, and it can happen. It can happen in a very short amount of time, sure, but just that kind of growth, it's not something that I necessarily expect to happen with most stocks. Because it's a crypto mining stock, I think it has that advantage. But if we look at this, where it dropped, just abysmally dropped, that took, from top to bottom, that took 22 months. That almost took 2 years. So to recover all the way up to this all-time high, if we give it the same amount of time frame, and that's fast, relative to this chart, that's the fastest move, right? Was this right here? That's 2 years, just a little bit less than 2 years. Well, if it's the end of 2023 right now, about 2 years from now would be the end of 2025. What else is going to happen in the end of 2025? That's the kind of expected area, the time zone of the end of the crypto bull market, which could mean that it's the end of this bull market as well. So just kind of keeping that in mind, to make this same move, it took 2 years. Well, with that amount of time, we'll probably be done with the bull market. Does this thing have a chance at getting above this high and forming a new high from there, potentially even setting all-time highs by the end of this crypto bull cycle? I think it has a chance in the sense that it's a lower market cap, right? It's got 36 million is a very low market cap, but I don't think, thinking about it a little more logically, practically, I'm not so sold on that. Um, watch it just do literally like 100x in half a year's time. It doesn't need 2 years to do that. Maybe it does have a very bullish reaction out of it. That is possible. Um, but at the moment, I am interpreting, I would expect lower highs. And if we take this kind of trend line here from tops, reading these tops here, something like that, we might find resistance somewhere up here at about $53 or $50, $45, something like that. From top to bottom here, this overall fib is coming in right in with this line, like basically from the beginning of 2024 until July of 2025, the second half of 2025, when the bull market is projected to be at an end. That's where this trend line is, right? That's where that is that whole time, and it's also right in the sweet spot that whole time. So, um, I guess if you move it, does it moves too, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe if we zoom in, it's a little bit better. Um, but yeah, that's that is the second half right there, technically, of 2025. So I really don't expect that it'll get too much above $63. Maybe we do, in fact, break $100 by the end of the cycle. but I do think it does phenomenal things, for itself. I do think that it's going to go up higher. I just don't know if it goes up ridiculously higher. I would expect more of like a 12x, maybe a 20x, something like that. There is the possibility that it could go higher again, guys, but just speaking from what I see, I would expect this to be a very nice pump, but a little bit more tame kind of in the grand scheme of things. This chart doesn't give me any reason, back to the beginning, doesn't give me any reason to have hope. It looks very terrible. It looks very terrible. And with this kind of chart, I think it's important to kind of at a default, when you see something that's been developing for years and it's only had lower lows and lower highs, even this high was very short lived, right? We just went to abysmally lower all time lows. Um, sorry. Um, I wouldn't expect that we have a higher high coming in. That's just my automatic bias. I would expect that the next high we have will probably be lower than this low or high here, definitely be lower than this high, and then we have some kind of retracement. Now, if we react positively, more positively during the next bear market than we did on any of the previous ones, where, on this down phase, instead of forming new lows on this down phase, instead of forming new lows, if we can move up and then come down and form higher lows over the course of the bear market, then we can talk about some more ridiculous price action coming in the following bull cycle. So maybe not this cycle. Maybe this cycle, it does perform well. It gets ready, gets put on the map, whatever. They use that money to get set up for the next cycle, and then you see tremendous gains afterwards. Something like that. Maybe not. Things can surprise us, right? They can become irrelevant. They can become more than relevant. Like, it depends. Time will tell. But at the moment, I do think that this looks good. I do think that things look productive. I think that we're going to go up. Bit mining limited looks pretty strong right now, man. This RSI bouncing off of the 40 zone, the bearish area of control, once, twice, three times like that. It looks good, man. This overall RSI on the weekly just looks bullish. So I do think you are going to break out of this zone. I think that breaking above about $4.75, $4.80 is going to be the real ticket. And I was actually looking at this. Let's see. I don't think I said this earlier, but if I did, I'm just going to say it again. But breaking above this 236 at about $5.15, that's going to give you the green light to this 382 area, and you'll probably go a little bit above that. If you have a positive reaction with that, positive reaction can look like this: you reject, come down, and then you break through. You're definitely going to see this kind of price action come into play. Um, and it wouldn't surprise me if it happened exactly like that. You have this kind of accumulation phase, you break out of it, find support on a previous area of resistance, and then you make your real move up. That wouldn't be weird at all. That's actually very textbook. But it is possible that you could go higher. But I think that this, we're on the monthly basis here. This is going to take time to move up to here. It's going to take time. It's probably going to take more than a year to move up to the 382. That could happen by the end of this year. It really could. It might happen sometime before the first half of next year, even into the latter half of next year. It's possible, but overall, I do think it's going higher. That's my genuine opinion, and yeah, I got nothing else to say. So if you guys like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks for coming. See you on the next one. Bye bye.